What is up, guys? RSC6414 here, back with another video. This time I'm doing my NFL Week 11 picks. Last week we had two teams get their first win, so we no longer have winless teams. And yeah, let me go ahead and get to the predictions for this week. First game we have Thursday Night Football, 8:25 p.m. on NFL Network. Indianapolis Colts at the Tennessee Titans. Indianapolis lost a tough one last week to St. Louis, 35-0, kind of embarrassing. Tennessee also embarrassing in their own right, lost to Jacksonville, 29-27, giving the Jaguars their first win. Colts are 6-3, Titans are 4-5. Titans are actually second in the AFC South, with the Colts first at 6-3. So if Tennessee wants to have any shot at really getting the AFC South title, they need to beat the Colts here. It's at Tennessee, by the way. I think Tennessee, if you don't know, Jake Locker is out for the year now. He hurt his foot in the game last week, so he's out for the year. So Ryan Fitzpatrick played all right in the game, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's had some experience. So it's Thursday Night Football. I could see the Titans pulling off a little bit of an upset, but I'm going to go with Indianapolis here to bounce back and pick up the win over the Tennessee Titans. So my pick, Indianapolis Colts. The next game we have is the New York Jets, at the Buffalo Bills, Sunday 1 o'clock game. The Buffalo Bills lost to the Steelers last week, 23-10, and then the New York Jets had a bye, if I'm not mistaken. They beat the Saints 2 weeks ago, which was a big win for them, and got the week off last week. You know, Buffalo's had a rough year ever since E.J. Manuel got hurt. They're 3-7, last in the AFC East. The Jets are 5-4, second in NFC East. They've had AFC East. I mean, if I said NFC, I mean AFC. Buffalo Bills, like I said, last in AFC East, 3-7. Jets second in AFC East, 5-4. I didn't get it straight. Sorry. The Jets, they've had a pretty good year, surprisingly. A lot of people didn't predict them to do very well, but they've done pretty well. So I think the Jets going to keep the momentum going, even though it is in Buffalo. With their backup quarterbacks from Buffalo, you never know what you're going to get. So my pick, the New York Jets, to pick up the win and move to 6-4 in the AFC East standings. The next game we have Baltimore Ravens at the Chicago Bears, the Bears. Sunday 1 o'clock game as well. This game on paper looks good. Color came back last week. They lost a tough one to the Lions, 21-19. The Bears did. Almost won the game, but they came up just short in a big crucial game. So now the Lions take over sole position of first in the NFC North with a 6-3 record, and the Bears are 5-4, tied with the Packers. The Bears, they've done all right so far this year. That you never know what you're really going to get from color. The Ravens beat the Bengals last week, 20-17. They gave up a Hail Mary in what was probably the best game of the week, last play of the game, but they ended up winning in overtime with a field goal by Justin Tucker. Big win for the Ravens. Huge. They definitely needed that. So the Ravens are 4-5, tied for second with the Cleveland Browns in the AFC North. This game should be good. It's at Chicago. Baltimore could pick up the win. I'm going with Baltimore to beat the Chicago Bears. So my pick, the Baltimore Ravens. The next game, Sunday, 1 o'clock, Cleveland Browns, my team, one of my teams, the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. 1 o'clock game. The Browns, we had a bye last week, but we did beat the Ravens 24-18 the week before. We're 4-5. Bengals are 6-4, first in the AFC North. Bengals lost a tough one, like I said, last week to the Ravens, 20-17 in overtime. This game should be good. It's a rivalry game, big game. We came up short against the Bengals the first time we played them. I'd like to think, even though Jason Campbell, he's had a solid couple games that he's played since he's been our starter, since Hoyer's been out and Whedon just hasn't performed well. So I really hope that we could pull off a win. We definitely need this if we want to have a chance at the playoffs or even wild card. So I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns for an upset here. So you know what? I'm picking the Cleveland Browns to beat my team, the Browns, to beat the Cincinnati Bengals in a huge game for us. So my pick, Cleveland. Next game, Oakland Raiders at Houston Texans. Raider Nation. They started off decent. They're 3-6, dropped a couple games. Houston lost a tough one last week. They've had all kinds of controversy. Kubiak, their coach, had signs of a stroke, but now he'll be back on the sidelines. Texans are 2-7, third in the AFC South. Oakland is 3-6, dead last in the AFC West. Pryor's had an alright year. He's hadn't had too bad. They lost a tough one last week to the Giants, 24-20. But it was a good game. Houston lost a tough one to the Texans, not the Texans, they are the Texans. Houston lost a tough one to the Cardinals, 27-24. Case Keenum's played well. It's at Houston. I'm going to go with Houston to pick up the win and improve to 3-7. So my pick, the Houston Texans to emerge victorious at home. The next game, Sunday, 1 o'clock, again, Arizona at Jacksonville. Arizona picked up a big win last week. They are currently 5-4. I was about to say 4-5, but they're 5-4. They picked up a much-needed win last week. Tyrann Mathieu, the guy from LSU, had a big week last week. Jacksonville picked up their first win, 1-8. They were celebrating like they won the Super Bowl, so congrats to them and the Jacksonville fans. But you know, I think Jacksonville's gonna pick up another win this week. To be perfectly honest, you know what? I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars to pick up their second win, keep the momentum alive. Arizona's is pretty dang good at home, but away you never know what you're gonna get. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Jacksonville Jaguars to beat the Arizona Cardinals. Next game, Sunday, 1 o'clock again. The Washington Redskins at the Philadelphia Eagles. Big game. For the Eagles especially, they're 5-5, tied for first in the NFC East with the Cowboys. Redskins are tied for last with the Giants, 3-6. Redskins haven't gotten off to a year that they like, obviously, since they made the playoffs. Eagles have done all right. Nick Foles has had a pretty good game or past couple games. The Eagles picked up a win last week, 27-13 over the Packers. Of course, the Packers did have Scott Tolzien, their third-string quarterback, in because Seneca Wallace got hurt. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. The Washington Redskins lost a Thursday night football game to the Minnesota Vikings, 34-27, giving the Vikings their second win. So that's not the direction they wanted to be going in. It's at Philadelphia. Washington's playing there. I'm gonna go with the Washington Redskins to pick up the win over the Philadelphia Eagles. So my pick, the Washington Redskins. The next game, Sunday, 1 o'clock, Detroit Lions at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big game for the Steelers if they want to even have a chance at the playoffs. They're 3-6 in the AFC North. The Detroit Lions, like I said, having a good year so far. First in the NFC North, 6-3. Lions picked up a win last week over the Bears, 21-19. And the And the Steelers, I'm pretty sure, had a bye last week, if I'm not mistaken. No, they beat the Bills actually, 23-10. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep the momentum going. They're playing at Pittsburgh. I'm going to go ahead and pick Pittsburgh at Heinz Field with the Steeler Nation and the yellow rally towels, all the fans behind them. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat the Detroit Lions. So my pick, Pittsburgh Steelers. Next game, Sunday, 1 o'clock, Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Atlanta has really had a disappointing year, probably the most disappointing team in the NFL if you ask me. 2-7, third in the NFC South. Tampa's last in the NFC South, 1-8. They picked up their first win over my favorite team, the Miami Dolphins. How embarrassing. On Monday Night Football, too, with the Dolphins controversy. So it's just one thing else to throw on top of a bad snowball, kind of, I guess you could say. Keeps building up. Excuse me. It is at Tampa Bay. I really don't see Atlanta going in there, even though it is at Tampa Bay. I still see Atlanta winning. I mean, Atlanta hadn't had a great year, but they've got the talent to win some games. So I'm going to pick the Atlanta Falcons to pick up their third win of the season. They can't keep losing forever. So my pick, the Atlanta Falcons to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To start off the 4 o'clock games, 4:05, my team, the Miami Dolphins, playing San Diego. San Diego's playing at Miami, by the way. 4:05. We lost a tough one to the Buccaneers, 22-19 last week on Monday Night Football. Not a good week for us as the Dolphins and Dolphins fans. San Diego lost a tough one to the Broncos, 28-20. They almost actually won the game, but they lost. And that was a much-needed win if they wanted to improve in the standings. Dolphins, my team, obviously 4-5, and third place in the AFC East. Chargers 4-5 as well, third place in the AFC West. So it's a big game for both teams, especially if they want to remain in the wild card hunt. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. We're playing at home. I think we're going to fight adversity. I don't think we'll lose 2 straight. I think we're going to rally behind the guys. Tannehill's going to lead us to a win. The locker room's going to rally behind, besides the bullying controversy with Incognito and Martin. If you want to know my take on it, I talk about it in NFL Week 10 to start it off. My picks then. But I'm going with my team, the Miami Fins, the Dolphin Nation. Let's go Dolphins. And yeah, my pick, Miami Dolphins. The next game, Sunday, 4:25, the San Francisco 49ers at one of my 3 teams. My team, another one of my teams. Yes, I have 3 teams. Big whoop-de-doo. I'm a diehard of all 3. San Francisco playing at the New Orleans Saints, my 3rd favorite team. Close second, close first, my New Orleans Saints. Who dat nation, baby? Let's go Saints. Who gonna beat them Saints? Nobody gonna beat them Saints. Because I'm picking the New Orleans Saints playing at home in the Superdome. 4:25 will probably be the game of the week on Fox. The fans will be watching. Most people will be watching the game. San Francisco lost a tough one last week, 10-9 to the Panthers. Saints, we killed the Cowboys 49-17, looking impressive. We're going to keep the momentum going and win again and remain in first place. So my pick, the New Orleans Saints. Who dat, baby? The next game, Green Bay Packers at the New York Giants, Sunday, 4:25. Scott Tolzien, the 3rd-string quarterback for the Packers, will start once again this week. The New York Giants picked up a needed win again, 24-20 on a 3-game winning streak, so now they're 3-6, still alive for the NFC East. Green Bay, without Aaron Rodgers, they're going downhill. So they're 5-4. They've lost 2 straight games. It's a big thing for them. So Scott Tolzien will have to step it up. It's at New York in the Meadowlands. But I'm going to pick the New York Giants. I think Eli Manning. They're going up against Tolzien, the 3rd stringer. He's good, but I don't think he's going to beat the Giants in New York. So my pick, the New York Giants to pick up their 4th straight win. So Giants, it's my prediction. Next game, another 4:25, the final 4:25 game, Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Seahawks. Minnesota picked up a win last week for the first time in a while. They beat the Redskins on Thursday Night Football 34-27. Seattle beat Atlanta impressively 33-10 last Sunday. Big win for Seattle. Seattle has had a pretty good year. I mean, not pretty good. They've had a really good year. They're 9-1. Minnesota, on the other hand, has not had a great year, 2-7. But I guess anything can happen. It's at Seattle, at Quest Field. I'm picking the Seattle Seahawks to beat the Minnesota Vikings in what will probably, I think it'll be closer than what people think, but my pick, the Seattle Seahawks. Probably the biggest game of the week, along with San Francisco and New Orleans. Sunday, it is the biggest game of the week. Sunday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. Are you ready for some football? Kansas City, this is a huge game for them. They are the only undefeated team left. They're 9-0 atop the AFC West. Nobody saw it coming. Andy Reid comes in there, first-year coach from Philly, or first year. He's not the first-year coach. First year in Kansas City, I should say. He was coaching Philadelphia for years before then. Denver 8-1, second place. Manning got hurt in last week's game. He's been sitting out at practice, but he is expected to play Sunday. So it's good news if you're a Broncos fan and if you're the Broncos. Kansas City needs to win this game if they want to stay in first, I think. It is at Denver, though. So it is going to be a tough game if you're playing at Denver in the Mile High Stadium. Sunday Night Football, the crowd's going to be rowdy. The crowd's going to be loud. They'll be behind the Broncos. And for that reason, and Peyton Manning, I think he'll come back strong, throwing those touchdown passes, doing what he does best. I want the Chiefs to win, but I've got to pick the Denver Broncos. So my pick, the Denver Broncos. And the final game of the week, Monday Night Football, New England Patriots at the Carolina Panthers. Monday, obviously, 8:40 ESPN. New England playing at Carolina at Bank of America Stadium. Will be a big game for the Panthers. New England 7-2 in the AFC East. New England had a bye last week, and the Panthers picked up a big win away at San Francisco. They won 10-9. Panthers have had an impressive last 4 games, beating everybody by double digits before they beat the Niners by a point, but that's impressive in its own right. Panthers 6-3, second in the NFC South on a 5-game winning streak. That's huge. 5-game win streak. Start out 1-3, 6-3, looked pretty impressive. Defenses look great. Cam Newton's played all right. D'Angelo got a touchdown last week. That's good if you're Panthers fans. Offensive line looked decent. So New England, it's Monday Night Football at Carolina. I'm pretty sure Carolina hadn't had a Monday Night Football game at home since 2008, so it'll be big for Carolina fans. They'll be on their feet. New England probably have some fans there because they're all over the world. All over the country, it seems like, because people love Tom Brady. Some people. I hate the Patriots. No offense to Patriot fans. I'm a Dolphins fan. I do not like the Patriots. I'm going to pick New England, however, as much as it pains me. So my pick, the New England Patriots to beat the Carolina Panthers in a really good, close game, in my opinion. I could see the Panthers winning, but I'm picking the New England Patriots. So my pick, New England Patriots in the final game of the week. That concludes my NFL Week 11 picks. Hope you enjoyed my predictions. Tune in next Wednesday night. It'll probably be up my NFL Week 12 and so on and so forth. Check out my other videos and subscribe. Thanks, everybody.